good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you are watching this program. We are at Zarifa Center and Inn. It's a place that has a restaurant, lodging, multipurpose conference hall, meeting rooms, and lots more. It is located on number 14 Wilson Enyi Street, New GRA, Makodi, Benue State. You are welcome to Roots Media, a North Central perspective, where we discuss burning issues that affect our society and our everyday life. In this episode, we are going to be talking about killing poverty in North Central. Poverty is a state or condition in which one lacks the financial resources and essentials for a certain standard of living. The poverty threshold line is the minimum amount of money a person needs to fulfill the basic necessities of life, like shelter and food. When families are below the poverty line, they qualify the help from government, or in this situation from donor agencies, or even from changing your lifestyle. The international line for poverty is $2.5 per day. Owanyi, do you think that is realistic for Nigeria?
$2.5.
Yes.
It could be lower than that. That's my opinion.
To me, it has been said that Nigerians are living below the poverty line. And right now, it's even 100% below the poverty line. Yeah.
But do you believe that? Because when you look at the statistics, they say Nigeria has the second richest man in Africa, and he's under the first 100 of the richest men in the world. And we have such people, a lot of them here in Nigeria. How realistic is that poverty line?
Well, the fact that one man is rich doesn't make 200 million Nigerians rich. Yeah, I mean, you said that there are many of them. How many of them are there? Let's look at it from that perspective. How many millionaires? How many millionaires in somebody was trying to qualify the other day? How many millionaires we have in 1,000? How many billionaires we have in hundreds, and all that. And if you look at it, it's whatever statistics you have, which I mean, I'm not competent to speak on because I didn't check. But look, talking generally, I don't think it's comparable to having 200 million Nigerians. So, I mean, I believe that the poverty situation is actually below the poverty, because when you're looking at a few individuals who are excessively rich, and then millions in
Living-
hundreds who
living
are
below.
living below, then there's no basis for comparison. Nigerians are actually poor. Almost all Nigerians, almost, because the fraction, you just have a fraction that are living big. Almost
The mere fact that
95%.
Yes, the mere fact that the richest man in Africa is from Nigeria doesn't mean that 99% of Nigerians are rich.
It's just 1%.
Yeah.
It's just the 1% of the 1% that are rich.
Yeah.
So the remaining 99% are living below the poverty line.
Yeah.
There is a gap between the haves and the have-nots. Yes.
So
There is no middle way anymore. There is no middle class Nigerians. That's my own opinion.
what are the causes of poverty?
There are so many causes, that result in poverty. The biggest one is corruption. Corruption in the system. Because why I say that, where there are institutions, to help the poor or to help the masses overcome poverty. But now corruption tends to override those, all those other systems, which results into poverty for the masses. In that, you find out that, like we earlier said, 99% of Nigerians are poor due to these corrupting factors within the system. So that's one. Lack of education is another problem that causes poverty. I have not researched the statistics because I'm not an educationist, but I believe that almost half of Nigerians are not educated. Either we are semi-illiterates or complete illiterates, so which results into poverty, especially for women and girls who do not go to school. It results into poverty for them as well. Then laziness is another cause of poverty. Most Nigerians, I'm sorry to say, with all due respect, are lazy. Yes, we are
You're
lazy.
sounding like Buhari, lazy youth.
But that is a fact. That is the truth. Most of us, we have an entitlement mentality. We believe if my brother is rich, it means I'm also rich. I wouldn't want to do the work myself. So which results into poverty for the individuals within a family. So I feel those are some of the factors responsible for, the prevailing poverty in the country. I don't know whether Onwani has any other thing to add.
You have inequality in earnings, even within even where people are employed. There's a huge imbalance between the earning power. You're talking about federal, states, and local governments, but we live in the same economy. And then
Now we go to the same
we
market.
go to the same market. But then there's a salary disparity between all this, services, right? Then you also have lack of economic institutions that will actually. I'm not talking about maybe we'll talk about banks, but we're talking about things that can be done, like looking at the institutions that can actually promote a reduction in poverty. Like agriculture is one huge factor that we have not explored to its optimum. And everybody eats food. And agriculture is one of the things that could have given us that glory. Let me put it that way. Because everybody eats food, everybody buys food. And if everybody is producing something, if we have excess, we can export. But those institutions around, maximizing the opportunities we have in agriculture have not been maximized. Then even the skills development. I don't know how far we've come with skills. There's no data to talk about percentages or to look at it in percentages. But I believe that Nigerians have been so white collar induced to the extent that everybody feels once you carry one small certificate like this, you are
entitled to a job,
yes, you are entitled to a
air-conditioned
government
office.
job in a air-conditioned office or something. But that's very unrealistic because it's not even happening. There are no jobs. There's unemployment. The unemployment rate is it's never been this high in Nigeria as a whole. And that's to say that we heard about times where people were even called from school in their final year to work in oil companies. Can that happen today?
That was in those days.
That's a dream.
And we had vocational jobs. You'll be on holiday and you have a job.
Even before you graduate, there's a job waiting for you.
There's a job waiting for you. There's a car waiting for you with perks.
And people had
There's a
to
house
choose.
waiting
I remember
for
a
you.
time, say when I graduate, I'm going to work for NNPC, Central Bank, things like
Yeah.
that. And
That's not happening anymore. We have not exercised our minds enough in acquiring skills that would, or developing skills that will kill poverty in Nigeria. There's a whole lot going on. But when you compare it to the statistics of people who are unemployed, there is no reason why every Nigerian should not have at least one skill that can put food on the table. If you have one and it's not doing enough, get another one. But as it is today, you have some Nigerians who are actually moving around and begging other people to survive.
And they call it
meet them.
Some
meet
are
them in
hustlers.
places. Like when you have events around the North Central, hey, you actually find some able-bodied strong actually
They
coming
come
to meet
begging.
you to give them money. Come on.
So how much is that going to take them?
Because the
If you
mindset,
give them 10,000, maybe for instance, that day, will it really, with the economic situation, will it take them up to 2 days to finish that money?
because the mindset is already there that we are all dependent on government jobs, which is a fallacy anyway.
Yes.
Mhm.
There are no government jobs. Nobody has any government job, to give to anybody, except you fight for your own freedom, from your own economic freedom, and it takes a conscious effort to do that.
I can tell you for free
Yeah.
that government has never been the major employer. It's only in Nigeria that you hear that government is the employer. Everybody is looking up to government. You finish school, your parents say, my daughter is still at
There is
home.
no
oh.
school,
You
no
know,
work.
No work. Oh."
Some will even
They are
hold
talking
your
about
hand
government.
and say, let me take you
Take
to my friend who is a commissioner. He will table down your name.
But what
for
about these
employment.
graduates? Do you think some of them really have graduated in the fields that they boast about? Because I know of miracle centers where they enter to go and write exam.
Yes.
They say, let my people go. They push some of them and they come out with those degrees and they can't write an essay.
We have not even, we're not even looking at why at why we have, okay, maybe that's taking us there, right? Because if you're talking about educational institutions, I would totally agree with you that our educational institutions are not even ready for the revolution that we're talking about. I look at it like there is no course that does not have an economic value. That's the way I look at it. So some people, if you read English, you feel that it doesn't have economic value. It does have economic value.
Of
Because
course.
you need people who would need an interpreter in English language. You have the creating writing angle. We are all creative writers, aren't we? So you can write, you can publish books, you can blog, you can, that's
You can coach children.
you can coach, you can teach, you can be an English teacher.
You can have online jobs too.
Exactly, in the mold of what I'm talking about, like blogging, translations, and all that, from English to whatever, maybe your native language or any other language that's required.
I'll also
No, go ahead.
I also like to add that the educational system here believes in certificates rather than the practical
The product,
aspect.
what you are able to do.
Rather than the product that you can, or the value that you can actually churn out from the educational institution. For example, technical education is so underrated here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
If we can have more of technical education, where technical subjects are taught, electricity, carpentry.
I think what you should be looking at is the ones we have. What have they added? What value have they added to society? We have technical education in.
We do. They're receiving an exam called NAPTIP.
Polytechnic. You have federal. You have state polytechnics here. You have College of Agriculture. You have two in that
Yandeva
local
and,
access. Yandeva and what do you call the other one?
The university.
The university now has been
Mbati is the same
regularized,
as
right?
that.
But are they enough, to take care of the needs of the populace? That's what I'm saying.
Asking you, what value have they given to society? I'm asking. I'm not. It's a rhetorical question. Because I see a lot of people coming out of these institutions and not even knowing the value of what they have been given, because they rated more on theory.
Yeah, that is exactly what I said.
Than practice. So even in those technical institutions, they are not grounded enough technically to put anything in society. to add value. If you're in a the only people I see that are actually driving their trade are creative artists. Like, I mean, artists in the mold of fine artists. Those are the people
Even
I see
musicians are trying.
actually flying their trade. When you say this person, that when you ask, they say, "Oh, this person was a graduate of Yaba Tech."
They had to come to that realization, you know.
But I think they've been doing well for themselves.
Well.
They have grown gradually.
Yes.
They have grown, and they started from somewhere. But the truth of the matter is, you have other fields in those same schools. But what's their impact? Yeah.
Like you said, people don't put value on the technical,
BSU,
even the
technical.
schools themselves.
Yes.
Don't value what they have. But I remember in those days when we were very young, people used to take their cars to the mechanics there, to the
workshop,
students
yeah.
there. They work on it. Those students used to churn out carpentry work. They used to do a lot of practical things that was earning that technical school
But
money.
if you go there now,
But
the place
eventually-
It's a shadow of its
The
own.
shadow of his past.
Yes, that's what I'm
It's
trying
even
to
been
say.
The
subsumed.
machineries are not
Under-
even working.
So why are the
University.
machineries not even in place at all? Why are they not, encouraging those students to continue that tradition of production instead of consumption that we are all used to? So if we can continue that tradition of production, I think the poverty levels will be reduced.
I think there's a social, there's a mindset in we have a psyche
Yeah.
right now that looks down on artisanal kind of skilling.
Yes.
Like the mechanic, everybody respects the mechanic, because if the mechanic takes your car and decides to return it any which way, there's nothing you can do. You have to accept it the way. But then that's where you have institutions who have upgraded the practice of what do you call auto mechanic,
Which
right?
they cannot even practicalize.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They cannot practicalize
At the
it.
end of the day, somebody who read, I met somebody who read mechanical engineering.
Yes.
She read mechanical engineering, and I asked her, so that means you
can repair cars.
you can repair a car. She said, who told me so?
Oh dear.
That
That's what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, when you when you carry these certificates, my mother would say someone will have degrees like a thermometer, 150. But you ask them to do something practical,
They
say
cannot
they
do
don't
it.
know.
Meanwhile, a
So-
mechanic on the street can do it.
And do
And my mechanic told me the other day that he can reconstruct a new car for
they are
me.
doing
Can you
it in
imagine?
That he
one
can
way.
do it. But meanwhile, if I go to a mechanical engineer that has a certificate from an institution and I tell
You
him,
can't
okay,
even fix your gear.
can he do
Or
it?
even your
But Nigerians also have a
God
way.
forgive us.
Nigerians also have a way of disqualifying things made in Nigeria. You make a Nigerian car now, they will say made in Nigeria. Nobody's going.
No,
People are
it's not
dri-
true.
People are driving innocent in this town.
No, it's not true. I disagree totally.
disagree.
Respectfully. Respectfully.
Yes.
Because
But-
made in Nigeria goods are so well respected in
For
the country.
now.
Yes.
Right now.
And the
When
past
you,
right now, no.
when you compare
But
Chinese,
but
Dorothy, when I want to disabuse your mind from that, when you compare Nigerian goods with
True.
Chinese made goods, people prefer to buy Nigerian made goods.
Personally.
I want
Right.
yes, I want to buy some PVC materials, and the guys in that shop advised me to buy the Nigerian made. I said,
Instead
well,
of
I
China.
asked them why. They said, no, look at the difference. They brought the Chinese made own to me, and I compared it, and the
Substandard.
quality was good. Even in electrical work or electrical wiring, Nigerian made
Yes,
products
yes,
are the
that's-
best.
Better.
They are
that's
the best in the
a
whole of West
positive-
Africa.
Yes.
a positive and recent development.
The-
Because at the time,
the people you are talking about
Nigerians,
is
if
are
they
the
see-
elites who believe that they must import
Something.
You
everything.
must buy everything.
they
I
have
imported
done-
this from
Yeah.
London.
But that is the problem
You know?
we have,
Yeah.
because if Nigeria was not such a big consumer economy, if we were manufacturing our own thing, which is why I respect Tony Elumelu, because he says that's Africa capitalism. Because
But
you
is he buying himself?
Yeah.
It's not.
But he's encouraging. He's encouraging, especially in agriculture.
I want to see what
You
he's
see
buying,
now.
that he's buying Nigeria.
They
Because
import
You see now.
his suits don't look like they come from
Even
abroad.
his canvas.
I can see like they are fabricating like these grinding machines,
Yes.
seeding machines. But I can see in agriculture they are making a lot of headway, which I like
I
it
think I'll
because
give it up
yes,
for Ogun State particularly. If
because-
all the commissioners are always dressed and their governor,
yes,
their
the
governor is
Nigeria
always
fabrics
dressed in
are
Nigerian
making here
fabrics
about them.
made in Ogun State.
Yes.
That's a statement.
But then
So-
you come and see shoes and bags.
Yes. So what
things like that.
what I want us to do is to disabuse our minds that anything made in Nigeria is bad. No. Because if we are able to construct, and invent the best minds are from Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
But what I'm
Best
saying is our
brilliant
own
minds are-
mindset. It's
but-
our own mindset.
Which is being
Once we have,
eroded.
So,
we have
The
that
only mindset
correct,
that is
all.
worrying us now is that we feel that we have to have a white collar job before
Yes.
we feel
Mm,
like
I think
human
that
beings.
will-
And that is affecting
There was
the
a
economy.
time. There was a time those
So,
Tokumbo cars.
for example,
they
like
were
the other
raining.
day, I was telling my mechanics, okay, you guys, you're very skilled. If you bring any type of car at all to them, those boys are going to work it, but they are not organized.
Mhm.
They are not.
and they're not honest.
They just put everything ramshackle together. So I said, you guys, why not form a union whereby you can collectively have a garage? This man is doing doors, he's a specialist in doors. The other one is a specialist in keys. The other one is a specialist in tires.
Bonnets.
But it's a cooperative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody in charge of you people. Then you have a training workshop for degree holders that have not been able to practicalize these things to come to your garage, because if you and do their practicals with you, their internship
Yeah.
with you.
Or why not even the
Well,
NYSC?
it should be the other way around.
But
Do you know
but
why?
it's not.
Do you know why? Because they have the theory, and they are supposed to have the practice
But they are
and
not.
the superior knowledge. So it should be the. Oh my goodness! Please let that day-
That's why everything in
let that day
Nigeria
not
is
come.
skewed. It's skewed. It's
Let
opposite.
that day not come. But it's fine if it's
You know-
if it's a learning curve for us to take and get things right.
But-
But this is sounding a note of warning to the professors
Yes,
in
because
our universities.
they will
Yes,
be, they will be
higher
rubbish.
institutions.
Yes, because
Don't you allow that to happen. Let that day not come. That
But-
somebody who has a superior knowledge of theory and practice is not able to apply it.
apply it.
And you will now have
And
to
they
carry
have
your
to-
bag of equipment or tools
And go to the website.
To teach you.
Let that day not come.
So, but the reality on the ground is not
This
happening.
is not happening.
The practical aspects
The
of
practic, the,
No,
the
this
subjects.
is just actually helping them to grow positively, because I
So-
know, do you know those people who schooled abroad, like most of the professors we have, most of them schooled there and they saw how these things worked. But when you come back to Nigeria, I've seen a lot of people who trained abroad and they tell you when they come back, application is difficult because there's no enabling environment.
what do you mean by enabling,
what is enabling environment? Air conditioned offices.
No. You want to show the piece of work that you were able to achieve abroad. There's no mechanical workshop for you to do it. You have
Wow.
you have a room that is designated as a mechanical workshop. There's no tool. There are no tools.
no equipment.
No equipment.
What about the raw material?
No
You can even if you
equipment.
tell me the raw materials, because as a mechanical engineer, we are just using as an example. You can have the raw materials and start from scratch, like our mothers used to peel okpehe by
with their hand, yes.
You as a professor of mechanics can formulate
Make a machine.
that will ease the labor of these poor old women.
The
to
same-
peel it.
Yeah.
I'm aware that in the village they now have machines that do palm kernel. They thresh,
That
yes,
has been
cracks
there
it.
for a
they
long
crack
time.
it, and
Before they used to use stone.
before they used to use stones. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And then
You don't need to wait for
So,
And then
so,
even maize,
yeah,
they have machines now
yes,
that deceive
yes.
them
So
from
that
here.
should be the job, or
There are people. There are people who are doing this magic, but they need.
But they are few.
They need investment.
they need investment.
So there's this young man who is somewhere around in Makudi. He's on Boko Road. He fabricates a lot of machines.
Yes.
If you go there, you'll see rice threshers, maize, this and that, cassava, what pillars, all sorts. I went to him because I'm always interested in processing stuff.
Sorry, is he educated, or was
He
he?
is yeah.
Is it a natural talent?
No. He's educated.
Okay.
He's one of those who is flying his trade and actually showing that
Showing the practical
Yes.
aspects of it.
Yes,
Yes.
a professor.
showing that he,
Which we are talking
no,
about.
No, he's not a professor. But I think he's an engineer. He's an engineer. He graduated from Uni Agri because one of them institutions. I mean, he's a guy I interact with all the time. You remember I was telling you that we needed to upgrade our mother's Okpehe business.
Yes. Locust bean.
Yeah, locust bean business, which my mother has been doing all her life.
Yes.
And I had to go to him. I'm like, you see, I can't do this thing because the way she's doing it is so manual.
So taxing.
I need
Also
so tasking,
Time consuming.
time consuming. So, can you make a machine that will, take the time off of what all those complaints I have? He said yes. That as a matter of fact, that he's even got one already done, which could take out the top peel, the top shell, the top shell of that locust bean
Yes.
seed.
Yes.
And they're so small.
But the one that will remove the white, there are like 3 layers
Yes.
in that seed. But that the one that will remove the white layer
Yes.
is the one that he has not been able to get.
Yeah.
So the second time, I've been resting about it. So I keep going back to him. I'm like, so have you found something? And he told me the last time I went there, he said to me, a lot of people have come. After I left for about a year, then I went back. I just keep going back because I always, anytime I think about
You should
something,
invest.
that's what he told me. That's what I'm coming to. So he told me that, he gave a humongous amount that could get him to produce the one that will remove that inner shell.
Yes.
And I said, why would it be so expensive? He was talking in millions. But that's not economical. How much are you going to sell the machine to me when just discovering
and his
it
clients,
is what?
not everybody will be able to afford that.
So he now said, there are people who have been coming to him, that it's you people who need it, you who are processing, who want this thing, that should come together. And I said, but you are the one. So we started trading blades. And but I don't know them. So you are the one to link us.
Yes.
If you link us and say, you are the investors, come and invest in this machine. Because the first time we discussed, he talked about money. I left because the money was much. And then the second time again, I went back and he was talking about more money and I left. But then he mentioned something that was very important, which we are not doing. We could crowdfund this machine.
Yes.
The investment in this machine, we could actually crowdfund
Yes.
it to get it. But how does he mass produce them? That's another level. But I'm sure when we get to that video.
But there must be a starting point here.
But that's saying that there are people who are ready and willing. I even know, and I was told that there's a man in Boko who is manufacturing cars.
And let me tell you,
this
it's
state.
just like when the grinding machine came out. They used to use the local one, but when they had it, somebody who is rich would buy it and keep it as a community thing. I remember we used to go and make line to grind our mala and grind. So maybe if you can get that.
So in short, what they need is publicity
And coordination.
and coordination and cooperative societies that will come together, because we believe in a one-man show in this area. For example, when I was in Plateau State, they are farming. They farm in large scale, large. You see trailers from Cameroon, from Niger, from all over West Africa coming to buy corn from Plateau State. It's just that this insecurity kind of, slowed down the trading there. But a lot of trading that is going on, because they do their farming in large scale. You see a whole community coming together, and then their farmlands, you cannot see the end. So what they do is they form cooperatives and then they do large scale farming. Not this a hoe and arrow kind of farming. No.
That's what we're still doing.
So that is what we are doing in Benue right now.
No, we're still subsisting.
We are still doing that kind of farming, which is not good. But in Plateau State, they use tractors. There are guys that formulate those tractors for them locally. They produce for them locally, and they are into large scale. They even have a common fund. Yes, where if they have land cases, they pull their resources together and go to court based on their.
That means they have a lawyer. They have lawyers.
Yes, they have lawyers on standby.
They are really organized.
So they are very organized. But in Benue here, we are not so organized.
Everybody.
So I'm trying to say that Benue people should come together.
Farmers Association of Nigeria, FAN.
In Benue here, they have a branch.
They have a branch, yes, I remember.
But their impact is not felt. It's not felt at all. We don't even know about their activities. So if we have such, associations, come together and do away with this primitive way of farming, I'm sure that would employ a lot of youths and get them out of poverty.
Another cause, sorry, let me go back to
Yes,
this.
please.
Is procrastination.
How?
So people, you want to do this and you know that you should do this, but you'll say, tomorrow, next year, in 2 years' time. Procrastination. Procrastination is a factor. It's a huge factor in a lot of things.
Don't give an example.
Yes, procrastination may be a cause, but there is a cause to that procrastination. That is the financial clout.
Sometimes you just need to start from ground zero.
How?
You need to start from ground zero.
How do you stand?
So let me tell you. Let me tell you how you can start from ground zero.
Yes, please.
So you have okay. For example, I have been meaning to farm vegetables, right? Because the cost has increased. I don't get the kind of hygiene I want around vegetables in the market, in the open market. So I don't have much land around my house, but then I have devised another way. I have said nothing is going to stop me from doing these vegetables this farming season. And I started. I went to the market, got ugu seeds. I had to start with ugu because that's one of the vegetables I buy quite often, but then I don't get it.
And
in
every
the
household in Nigeria eats ugu.
Yes, it's ugu. So this is for my personal consumption. It's subsistent, right? But then I have flower beds, which I've always had flowers in. For heaven's sakes, in this day, planting flowers, and I'm asking myself, are you okay?
That's your African view. Don't you need flowers?
That's the reality of my situation. I need food, not flowers now. Somebody gave this advice, and I honestly, that is the truth.
Plant
That is the
edibles
truth.
in your birds.
Yes, you need to.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but I'm talking about procrastination. We talked about, you were asking how can a person start with nothing from ground zero, and I'm telling you, and I'm like, you can even get those seeds from a neighbor who already has been planting. It's not even that expensive.
Like spinach, it's easy
It's
to grow.
easy. You can just go get.
The issue,
you can do it.
The issue has to do with character now. Like we said, some people will say, me, farm what?
Pride.
Pride. Some people are too proud to do certain things.
But they are not proud to beg and wait and get entitled.
But they are proud to do what they call menial jobs. Meanwhile, those menial jobs are putting food on your table. For example, you have a vast expanse, like I have a vast expanse of land behind my house. I was telling you the other day, my next project is to plant cashew trees. It's behind my house.
One madam came, my friend, the mother is from the north.
Yes.
And when she came visiting, she saw us with a dog. Her comment was really funny. She said, "Ana kiwo abin da dachi." That you keep animals that you eventually eat. What are we doing keeping a dog? So I'm just agreeing with you that instead of planting flowers, you should plant maybe spinach.
Instead of going to the market and buying those things in the open market.
The bottom line for me is that in the market is an appalling situation.
Yes,
I mean,
that's the subject for another day.
Yes, that's a
by the time you get ugu that is sizable enough for you to make a pot of soup, you know how much.
So what we are trying to say for the school leavers, for those unemployed youths, and for those unemployed people, or for the retirees, if you have a small plot of land, you can plant vegetables. People from your neighborhood are going to patronize you. I know
Exactly.
an old woman that plants vegetables in front of her house there, and people buy from her,
Yes.
No, we'll buy.
and she survives on that.
Because it will be cheaper than getting it from the
Yes,
market.
and she even has laborers that come to weed it for her because
Exactly.
she no longer has the strength to do it. So I looked at her one day. I said, Mama, are you selling this vegetable? She said yes, and and I said, and people buy from you.
Self-sustenance.
She
That's
said
what we're
yes.
talking about.
In Jos, while we were in school, my very good friend, very close friend of mine in Jos, we were reading the same course. She lived in one of the quarters. You know, students used to take up accommodation in the quarters. So there was this nurse she lived with. The nurse had the main house, and then she was in boys' quarters. She had an ugu for Igbo lady. My friend, you know, is Igbo as well. She had a whole farm of ugu in Jos.
And she was selling it.
Yes, people from the market were coming to buy from her.
I have a retired civil
And-
servant here. She
She
has a
was- she was
snail
a
farm,
nurse.
snails, you know. She has something dug in her backyard and she raises snails.
Even here in this hotel
And they're very
where we are
expensive.
Yeah,
shooting,
they're vegetables.
they produce their own
Yes,
vegetables.
produce their own vegetables.
Yes.
How amazing!
Yes.
It's
So
amazing.
Yeah.
those are the ways that you know our youths can overcome poverty. Not necessarily you have to. Of course, degrees are all good and fine, but and government works.
Find the business. Sorry to cut you.
Yes.
We have to find the business in our degrees. There's a business in every degree, like we started saying. It's just like the medical doctor. When they come out of medical school, sometimes they have to specialize. Otherwise, you'll be a medical practitioner. I mean, a general practitioner, right? It's for you from moving from that to specializing in an area is what now you're trying to make a business out of. You know, specialization.
education.
Yeah.
Even we lawyers.
And even when you set up that clinic and you don't run it properly, you're not going to get anything out of it. So there's a business in everything, but you have to find the business in your degree. Is there no business in law?
There is.
There's a business in law. It's not just
There's
a certificate.
I don't like the ones they call charge and bail.
No, there's no charge and bail.
There's no
lawyer.
charge and bail
There's
lawyer. A
nothing
lawyer
like
is
charge
a
and
lawyer.
bail.
Okay, it's
He's a
an
lawyer.
insultive word.
Yes. A
Have
lawyer is
you
a
heard
lawyer.
about
So
this charge
maybe
and
somebody
bail
who
lawyer?
is starting or decides to go to prisons to just to take care of the bail.
No.
I'm saying that there's a business in every degree. If you, we're sitting here in this beautiful space now, with horticulture and everything, you know, nature around us. A botanist can actually employ gardeners under them to be able to. Of course, you have even an aspect of horticulturists. You know, I guess that's an aspect of. So botany is about plants, isn't it? And then you have the horticulturist who is beautifying. You also have architects who are also beautifying. Those are all, and I mean, an architect designs a garden.
Now
a garden
you are
space.
talking at the level of certificates.
No.
What about somebody who
That's what I'm
doesn't have
telling
a
you.
degree?
That's what we're talking about. People who have degrees but are not able to use them, and they are suffering
And,
from poverty.
yes, and they are
begging
sitting
on
at
the
home.
streets.
Yes.
Sitting
And
at home
begging
waiting
on the
for their
streets and
degree
waiting
to
for-
you know to put food on the
do
table for
something,
Put
them.
food on the
Yes,
table
yes,
for
yes.
government to come and deliver
Which is not
employment to
feasible
you.
anyway.
We're saying that there's a business in every single certificate. That's what I'm trying to
So
say.
you just
Yeah,
have to
that's
take
true.
a
don't say
positive
yes.
attitude.
Stance, yeah.
Yes.
You have to look at the business. What this degree I read, what is
What
the
can
business in it?
fetch? What can I fetch from it, or what can it fetch for me?
What is the business in it? That's what we should be looking at. Not to
Yes.
say you're waiting for government to come and employ you so that they will pay you salary at the end of every month.
Those
That
days
is-
are
that
gone
is
anyway.
something.
Those
Because
days are
some
gone.
people they
They're
will say,
gone.
you are going to do English as
Yeah, so
as
what
a
will you
degree.
do with
What
it?
will you do with it?
Let me
Yes,
tell
a
you,
lot you
Because
can
Dorothy.
it's
do
not
with it.
marketable.
Dorothy, the person who does not even have a degree today in Nigeria is better than a degree holder in Nigeria. Do you agree with me? Because they survive. They survive very well.
And they are not they are not ashamed of what they are doing.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
They know what to do to survive. But you who has that
The
theory and
degree,
practice, you went to school to learn the theory and practice.
Yes.
You don't know how to apply the
Especially
knowledge.
some that I can't do this, I can't
That's
because
the thing.
yeah, not me
but that's
with
the
a
thing.
degree.
The
going
business
to-
in that degree may not be a finished thing. It may not be something that will give you panache. If I mean, I don't know how to put it, but
Like,
it's
okay.
not something that is
No, let me give you an
glorifying or
example of one.
edifying per
Let me
se.
give you. I used to have a neighbor that, when his sister's car breaks down, he repairs it. He repairs it. So I asked him one day, I said, "Are you a mechanical engineer? You studied mechanic?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Then you know how to repair cars. Why not set up a garage? You're educated, you have the degree. I think you will overcome a lot of other negativities, connected to roadside engineers. Why not set up a garage for yourself and repair people's car? You may even put air conditioning there if you want to make it look different." The guy never took me up on this advice. He went and was working for Benue Links as a ticketer.
That's
I
what we're
thought you would say
saying.
the mechanical because they have a big mechanical workshop.
That is the
That's at a
absurd
point.
situation I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yes, I agree with you. So that's the thing.
He prefers to work for government.
Somebody who
Cutting
does not even
tickets.
have degree in
Benue Links
Nigeria
had a
today,
mechanical workshop
You are shouting,
that
sir.
was one of the best in North Central.
somebody who does not even have a degree in Nigeria today is better than those people who have degrees. Honestly,
I have
and
a
we must,
relation.
and we need to change that mindset.
I have a friend who is a carpenter. Do you know how he makes a whole room set for somebody, living room set, maybe bedroom
You
set,
told us a
including
story
the mirror?
before.
Close to $1 million.
Imagine.
And if you don't want, you go away. You come with your degree and he will tell you that you need to
And he
bring
didn't see
this
the
money.
four walls of his school.
He didn't.
You see, you said he hated school,
He hated school.
Yeah.
He should run away.
and
You know,
that's the thing. Not everybody is meant to go and get a degree.
that is it. Though.
All these degrees.
Because
are-
some
Even
of
if
them
you
were-
do get the degree, and
okay.
like you say, you can earn from your degree.
Some of them
You
are
have to
not
look
meant to
at
get it.
what's so special about my degree. That's why I like white people. Though. They'll just sit down and formulate a job for themselves. If you
Yeah,
have a talent, don't be ashamed to use that talent to get what you want and to earn a living. There's no shame in making money, like I always say. So far you're making legitimate money. You can use whatever you have at your disposal to make this money. Let every other person laugh. They are not going to feed you. They're not going to pocket
After
you.
laughing, they'll come and beg you. for the
They'll be the
money.
ones.
Don't give it to them.
What causes poverty is lack of good governance. When the man that is in saddles of responsibility is able to bring policies that can enhance development and stimulate the economy, it will go down to reduce poverty. Because in the event of when the economy is not stable, when what is needed to provide for the citizens are not there, poverty will go higher. So I think in the nutshell, what brings poverty in the land is bad governance. I want our leaders to be honest. They should be sincere. They should look at ways that they can provide the basic and social amenities that will reduce this poverty. I think that is the one way if the people in leadership are able to bring policies that have direct bearing on the citizens, it will go a long way to reduce poverty in our society.
The cause of poverty in the society, on my own understanding, is lack of jobless. Someone supposed to have something doing as a personnel. If you are a laborer or a business personnel, you have to assist yourself for something doing. You don't need to be jobless at all. At least you reduce the level of the poverty. If we are talking of the income in the society, government, they are available there maybe to create job opportunity for the masses to be working. Also, we put ourselves in, advance of living, so that we'll be able to taking care of responsibility and the rest of other things. I'm a workman. I used to repair bike motorcycle electrical work. I'm so much in fact I'm perfect in the work. Despite that the work is no longer consistency like before, but I'm perfect doing it. So someone have to concentrate on having something doing to enable he or herself to advance of poverty going away. In terms of what I want people to be doing to put poverty aside, we have to have vision, target. This is my ambition. This is what I want to do. You put your mind, focus on that thing you are doing. You don't need to, slack. You don't need to be slack. You have to have vision of, yes, ambition that this is what I want to do. Because without you having such an ambition for you to develop interest of doing something, it will hurt that person. So you don't need to fold your hands one place and be expecting the miracle to be happen. Heaven will help those that help themselves. We put your ambition, yes, this is what I'm trying to do. I want to do this thing so that I will be able to help my future, to help the poverty to be away.
When you don't have something at hand to be doing, or you don't have anything to be doing as a living, as a human, actually you have to be angry, because there are some of responsible as a human being. We have our daily needs to be doing. So when you don't have money and you have to be doing all those things and the money is not there for you to be doing, you have to be angry. So it's good for you to have something at hand to be doing, and either working under someone. Like now that many people have graduated and they don't have any business to be doing, any common work, you have to collect something by yourself to be doing in order to earn a living. Like me now, I don't have anything to be doing, but at least I'm just helping one of my sister. We are making sales now. I'm managing my own life, and also I'm thinking to have my own personal business too. My advice to youth like me, especially ladies, I want them to have something at hand to be doing. Because if you have your own something, even man that is coming to friend you or marry will value you. Sometimes that person that is coming to you may not have something. If you want like even 5,000, you can assist the person, and the person will be happy that this is the one I'm close to. This is the lady I want to. The person, you know that tomorrow if I help this girl and she have a big business, or she's doing something, or if I employ her now, she will assist my own family or my personality. So my advice to them is to have something to be doing at hand.
Welcome back to the Bridge Show, a North Central perspective. We are at Zarafat Center and Inn, where they provide a restaurant, lodging, multipurpose conference hall, meeting room, and lots more. We have been talking on the topic killing poverty in North Central. We have examined the causes of poverty. We are not going to be examining the effects. Nerima, what do you think are the effects of poverty
Yes, one of the effects of
as it
poverty.
concerns North Central?
Yeah, one of the effects of poverty is a high rate of crime. Because here there is poverty and people are, unemployed and lack what to do, they resort to all manner of criminal activities. So that is one of the effects of poverty. Then another effect of poverty is that it results to violent acts as well, because anger also issues out of poverty. A hungry man is an angry man. So once there are a lot of poverty-stricken people in the society, you will find a lot of violent criminal acts taking place, in that society. So that's one of the effects I would say. Then another effect is lack of confidence. Once you're a poor person, you lack confidence to approach people or to approach issues. You cannot stand. You find it difficult to relate to others, because you lack that confidence, to address issues, because you're thinking, oh, I'm a poor person, nobody is ready to listen to me. So, that's one of the, dire effects of poverty. I
What
don't know.
about sexual immorality?
Mm-hmm. That's a very strong factor.
Mm,
It's a very strong factor in a situation of poverty.
yeah.
When you refuse to kill poverty, you can do anything for money.
Yes.
You feel like you have no option. The options are limited for you, so you have to just throw caution to the wind. Poverty also leads to diseases. If you don't eat well, your children will be malnourished. As an adult, you could be overweight from not eating balanced diets. A lot of the overweight situation we have around here, I believe, is because people are not even eating properly. Because if you're eating well, like we'll all be like her now.
She's not malnourished.
Look at the person.
Very healthy. No, I mean she's slim, she's cute, and all that.
Yes.
Apart from that, you also live a half life, an unfulfilled life.
Yeah.
People are unfulfilled when they don't have any, you just lack the zeal for life.
Yeah.
You're discouraged, and that leads to some of the things she's also mentioned.
And
Violence.
poverty may also lead to suicide.
Yes,
Yeah,
it could lead
exactly.
to suicide
That
when
is
you
the
are
worst
helpless
case scenario.
And you will not
Yes.
have friends because they say success
And
has
depression.
a lot of relations.
Exactly.
But
And
when you are
depression.
poor,
Depression.
hardly anybody comes to see you. So
So you lack any joy for the future. You don't see it's gloom all the way. But when you go out there and you're achieving, there's that natural feel about loving life that you imbibe. It just comes on you anyway because you're doing what you're adding value. You're adding value because it may not be. It doesn't have to be what you love at the end of the day, because a lot of people feel for you to make a success of life, it has to be you're doing something you have passion for, something you love. But that's again another thing. People think that they have to wait for that thing that they love to work to kill poverty. No,
yes.
work is work. Just work. If you're working, and the thing is, we're starting small. You can start small and move up. When you move up, you can do your passion.
Yeah.
You can do you. But there's a time for just you just have to roll up your sleeves and do something. So poverty.
Which is true. There is a guy that lives near. I always practicalize my own observations because I see it happening in real life. There's a guy that lives near my house. So every day when I'm going to court, he sees me. So one day he stopped me and said, "Oh, barrister, you're going to work?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, I really admire the way you're diligent in going to your work." And most times I see the guy farming. He's farming for somebody. Speaks
That is work.
good
Impeccable
English.
English.
Yes, impeccable English. I said, young man, how are you? He said, yeah. He said, fine. I said, what's your qualification? He said, he has a diploma in law,
Imagine.
but he doesn't have a job. I said, what you're doing is a job.
It's a job.
It's a job.
It's
a
good
job.
enough.
Insofar as you're not stealing,
It's a job.
you're not involved in any criminal act. It's a job. So be proud of it. And from this, you can also
Train yourself.
train yourself, because he said
Go
he wants
further.
to be a lawyer. So I said, you read diploma in law. Oh, why not go further? He said he's constrained by finances. I said you shouldn't be constrained by finances because you're already practicalizing
Save.
your way out of that poverty
Yeah.
level. I didn't put it so crudely anyway. But I said, but you're farming. You farm for people. You earn money
Save
from it.
money.
He said, yes, what I've told him has really encouraged him. So I said, don't look down on yourself
Yes.
because you are farming for people and say this is not a job. It's
Yeah,
a job.
It's a job.
You earn from it.
It's a job.
You're earning every day. Nobody is dashing you this money. You earn from this job. So be proud of what you're
You
doing.
see, I see.
Because it's a step forward to another step.
Yeah, I see a lot of people who ride Okada, lashing out on people, insulting people. The next thing,
Don't you know I'm a degree holder?
then they start to tell you the story of their lives. How they are. You think I'm doing this Okada because I want.
I like it.
It's because there are no jobs. That's a job.
That's a job.
It's a job.
Yes.
That's an option.
Whatever you are
That's a
doing
job.
honestly to earn money
Yes,
is a job.
so
Like
So
in China,
now-
like in China, and even down in the western part of Nigeria, every household has something to do. They have cottage industries within their compounds.
Even in Lagos.
In
That
Lagos,
is
that's what I'm
what brought.
saying.
That is what
Eh.
brought about the empowerment of
So
SME.
Chinese, a household will be making zips, just zips, to export out.
Yeah.
Some will be making only jeans
Yeah.
to export out. What about Aba?
Mm-hmm.
Do Igbo people cry of money the way
Master
we cry of money?
You see, I watch a lot
Eh?
of. I
And they
watch-
don't have a university degree.
I
these
watch
Igbos.
Chinese. I watch
Even if they
Chinese,
do,
um,
even
Some
if they
of them
do,
Yeah,
don't.
even if they do.
Most
Even
of
if
them
they do.
don't, but they are very, very
most
okay.
of them do.
even
know.
if they do.
So I watch a lot of Chinese channels,
Yeah.
and there's this mentality that all the things that come from abroad are from one mighty big factory,
Some of them are
yes.
school
with
projects.
machines.
Yes.
I saw one man in one of these documentary channels.
Mhm.
There was just one flicker of light
Uh-huh.
above his head,
Yes,
and he
in
was
one
using
room.
the same kind of machine that
You
those,
use.
those manual machines.
Yes.
That,
Mhm.
I love to use manual machines.
And most of these
because
small
of the
touches,
light
you know.
situation. He was sewing, and I'm like, this thing is going to end up in some African shop or some
Like-
foreign shop.
Like for example,
Yeah.
I and my sister, after we finished learning, we started a cottage industry. We were producing from our living room. We were looking for people to distribute. We didn't find anybody because it was not an office job.
Yes.
Mm.
It was not but we were paying salaries consistently. We had one tailor that was, you see. So the problem is even the workers.
that
workers.
mentality.
That
issue.
That brings us
mentality
to
issue.
the resolution. So what can we do to kill poverty? You people, Rima, you are talking about starting a cottage industry in your sister's living room.
Yes.
That is a poverty killer. And then the other tailors that are some of them don't have shops. They say, I learned tailoring, but I don't have a shop.
Yeah,
So someone, yes,
yeah.
someone like
Putting
that.
the cat before the horse.
Yes.
Even if you take jobs to them, they still won't do it.
Some of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
We tried that
there
before.
must be some willing to work. So what do you think will be the resolutions?
So
Yes.
I would say that removing shame from honest living is one factor that we must take very seriously in our area here, because people are very. So here's the thing. In fact, I think it has to do with the kind of some kind of
So
ethnic
I would say
consciousness
it's a
around.
mindset.
No, there's an ethnic consciousness. Like, I'm from Igede, right? A lot of Igede people are very menial in their outputs. They're not ashamed to do menial job.
They like
You can give it
they are
up.
artisans.
Yes, they are.
Mostly.
Yeah, they are artisanal in nature. They are maybe they are your cobblers. They could be your
Tailors.
tailors. Those are the kind of things you find them doing.
Cooks.
Most of the time, they are cooks. They are house helps.
Chefs.
So people tend to look down
on them.
on such persons.
But they don't care.
But they don't care. They just carry on. If you go to Oju, I think you will find some of the best people who make suits in that place. It's just like Aba,
Yes.
but people don't know that is
And
a
they are
virtue.
feeding their families.
They don't know that that's a virtue. They have trained children in universities, and that's the thing. So when people look down on such category of people, they tend to now want to put everything in their children so that their children can be different from them. That shouldn't be the case. Be proud of who you are. Be
You should
proud of
you
the
should
work.
continue the tradition.
Yes, the tradition. Even if you do get an education, or get your children to be educated, or you yourself get an education, you don't have to leave the trade. And I see that happens all the time. That somebody who is ashamed of because of the way society rates him or her would now get an education and say, over my dead body, I cannot do that thing again. That's wrong. I've met somebody who was moving from house to house begging, and I asked her, I said, what are you good at? And she said, well, she learned how to make hair. But she cannot believe that her father decided that that's the kind of trade. It was the oddest thing I've ever seen, that someone from that part of the country would even think of begging because I've never seen that in anybody from that place, from that angle.
So it's
Yeah.
individual
Yes,
differences.
so she
The
told
personal thing.
I was trying. I told her, I said, okay, what do you want to do? I wanted to pay for her to get a trade so that she will stop. Healthy looking, hefty lady moving from her with a child on her back, and she comes this year with a child. The next year she's coming with another child.
Oh,
So
damn.
I said no. There's
She has a
something-
criminal
there's so-
mindset.
no, maybe not criminal, but maybe she has issues, So
She has a baby
Entitlement
boom
mentality.
entitlement, but it wasn't fetching her anything because at the end of the day, I had to.
How
also,
do you know that?
I had to also put her out because I gave her money to go and register for sewing. And she came
Found,
back,
for money for her to start business, but she still went
came
back
back
on the
to the
streets
streets. Yeah.
to start
Oh,
begging
I saw
again.
it.
And the guy was very angry with her. In the end, she was even so ungrateful. So that entitlement mentality
kind
is what is, killing most of us.
Yeah.
Is what is leading to poverty.
So we must remove
You know.
shame. That was the point
shame.
I was on. We must remove shame. We must stop procrastinating because if they said what you have to do today, do it. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't say today, tomorrow. There is a 0 point level at which you can start something. There's always, but then when we talk about that, maybe I'll leave it to you so that you can talk, and then maybe we'll talk about government policies as well.
All I can say is that for those that have degrees, like she said, you must find value in your degree. You must find uses for your degree. For example, the practical aspect of being an engineer,
An
you know,
automobile
or
engineer.
whatever.
No, let's not forget because there are different kinds of engineering.
There's civil
we'll still
and there is
find,
mechanical.
you have to practicalize what you studied, in the university. Bring it to life. No matter, like my sister said, you have to start somewhere, somehow. Despise not the days of small beginnings. Even if it's from your house, from your bedroom, or from your compound, you're coupling cars for people. You will see people patronize you because people are looking for cheaper markets,
Yeah.
cheaper alternatives that work for them. So you may think that you will not have a market for that, but there's a wide market. Nigeria is a very big, wide market.
Bang markets.
That is what only a few people realize that.
Yes.
But it's a big, wide market that you can explore and make your money and get out of, that poverty state. Also, government should make an, enabling environment, to encourage people, especially the youth. They should sort of set up youth centers where they can learn skills, handwork, tailoring, all those things. Maybe there are centers like that because I'm not too involved in government, so I don't know about that. But they can encourage the youth to go to these centers and upgrade their skills. It's not necessary that you must take your son or daughter to a ministry to be sitting behind a desk and be signing forms for
Or moving files.
and moving files for people to steal monies and all that.
Mm.
No, that is not the issue. You must make an enabling environment, encourage them, just like the Chinese did to their youth. That's why China could move out of poverty.
There was a target.
There was a target.
Moving
So
a certain amount of people from
from
poverty every single year.
yes.
Everything.
So that is what the programs that government should put in place.
Which is what somebody
Yes,
like Tony Elumelu is doing.
Mhm.
From this,
But one individual cannot tackle it
that
alone.
project that
No.
he does, yeah. No,
If
one-
Nigeria had about
everybody has to just
30
add
or a
value.
million people like Elumelu, I think this world would be.
Not
Did
even
you say
up to a
30
million.
million?
Not even up to a million.
No,
Not even
you
up
don't-
to
you
100.
don't need up
Maybe
to- You
2,000.
just said about 100 or
maybe
200 persons, millionaires or billionaires who can do this.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. Wigwe Herbert Wigwe, we heard that he was into a lot of such things, and from he has envisioned that that's what his university was going to do as well. So let's
Yeah,
hope
the
that
Wigwe,
they won't let the dream die
the-
with his. with
And
him,
also at
Yeah.
Rhodes Media, we also have interventions where we want to shoot films. We want to showcase the talents, the natural talents that come from Benue, because we have a lot of naturally artistic human beings in Benue, and that is the truth.
in
It's
North
not
Central.
They are not central. We have a lot of talent, but we don't have the means, to move or showcase their talent. So that is the initiative that we're trying to evolve into and
Yeah.
encourage youth participation in our programs. If they come, they meet us. Our lines are, on the net. They can contact us,
Yeah.
and we work together.
And then you see, there should be this deliberate effort at crowdfunding initiatives.
Yes.
Crowdfunding business ideas. We like to crowdfund for mundane things like weddings, parties, social
They do
events,
committee of
social
friends.
events.
Yes.
But nobody is thinking
Of
if
economic
we're doing
crowdfunding. Yes.
I have even tried a few times to say, this thing is getting so interesting. For if you can come together with friends and they will actually support you in this way. So let's do it for business. That didn't work. So why is it we need to be more trusting of each other when it comes to business, just as we're trusting of each other when it's in social events. We need to move from social events to actually building potentials in ourselves, business potentials and business ideas. We should think more constructively about the things that add value to society. They said that if you see a need in an environment, we also should identify the needs of our environment. What are the needs we have in our environment, and how can we solve those needs? They said that it's in solving problems that you make money. So, and there are people with those ideas. So you can actually come together. We have even set up a cooperative this thing before, but it never saw any light.
Because of distrust.
We need to be serious about such things. We need to be deliberate. We need to be trusting of each other to be able to come up with solutions to our problems. Now, we talked about the Okpehe thing. A lot of ladies online, I have not seen a male yet, but a lot of ladies are doing, as soon as you think about an idea, 1,001 persons
Which is
also
good.
have, which is fantastic. That's competition.
Yeah.
And competition is good for business. That's why we have a consumer protection and competition agency, So, commission rather. So we need to build on what we have. If 1,001 persons are interested, we can now form a cooperative or an interest group for that kind of thing that we're looking for, and then support this guy who is going to find the solution to our problems, because we're looking for someone who can crack the inner shell of Okpehe, So I mean, locust bean, bean seed, which is the material that's used for a locust bean spice. So we can do that together, and then see how. And when we have a vested interest in that kind of thing, we can even make money from his patent, because we have funded him. So we can also make money from his sales. We can have a percentage.
Value chain. That's what
Yes.
it's
So
called,
I mean, all of this.
Like I read somewhere that the governor of Benue State was making an allusion to agricultural opportunities open to Benue people. He said, let them come together and form cooperatives.
Yes, very important.
Once they form cooperatives, he's ready to fund such cooperatives instead of doing all these individual farming
one man show.
that does not help anybody. Come together and form cooperatives and get large farmlands that you can ranch and all that. Okay, like there's a scarcity of meat,
Opportunity
of meat now
Yes.
in Benue State, because the Fulanis are always fighting the farmers. But if we form cooperatives that have ranches all over, I think a lot of youth will be employed.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And I tell you what, even the value chain thing you're talking about.
Yes.
I asked somebody about pizza. I said, she's a baker. So I was ordering stuff from her, and I asked her if she does pizza as well. She said yes, but that she only does it at the family level. That's a baker. She does commercial stuff, But then she said, because I can't afford the cheese. Value chain for something like a ranch is that you have cheese, you have butter, you have milk,
Yes.
and then meat is just, and these are everyday.
And we have vast farmland that can take care of it. We have land.
So
we don't need we don't need to depend on Fulani herders supplying us our cows. We can form, ranches like they do in America.
That was one of my greatest disappointments when this whole insecurity thing was raging, and a lot of people said that they've stopped eating beef because. So why can't you start your own beef cattle farm? Why not?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you have been watching us, I've been talking about killing poverty in North Central. We have talked extensively on the causes of poverty and the effects and their resolutions. He said poverty is a sin. So our people have no sponsorship mindset. We should learn to sponsor. If you know that somebody is coming up with an idea that at the end of the day will be profitable for the inventor and for the sponsor, I don't see why we should not sponsor them. And we should also trust in investing in people. We are at Zarephath Center and Inn, where their service include a restaurant, lodging, multipurpose conference hall, meeting room, and lots more. They are on 14 Wilson Enyi Street, New GRA, Makurdi, the capital of Benue State. Thank you for watching. Keep on liking, sharing, and reposting the Roots Media. Keep on watching Bridge Show, a North Central initiative that handles problems that bedevil our society. Until next time, when we come up again with other interesting topics on Bridge Show. With the from Mowanyi. Erima.
Ciao.
Bye bye for now.